Hi everybody, welcome to Aimee Nolte Music. I want to let you know something today that's been on my mind for a while. I think the easiest way to start talking about it is to give you like a hypothetical or something that actually happens to me quite often, so an example. I'm teaching Skype lessons these days, and so that means that all the time I'm meeting people from around the world that are new to me, and it's kind of fun. What ends up happening is I'll start the lesson by asking them, what do you want to take lessons for? Like, what do you want from music? And sometimes it's something that they haven't even asked themselves, and that's a little worrisome to me. But sometimes they do know, and as they start explaining, they often say things like, well, I took from this teacher for a couple of years, and they were going to make me play classical piano and study real hard. You know, I was doing Bach minuets, but I didn't like that so much, and they didn't think I was very good. So I went with this other teacher, and they wanted me to learn all my scales, and you know, it's just too much for me, and so I gave up. And I've been away from the piano for about 10 years, or the guitar, or the bass, or voice, whatever their instrument is. And I get that. I mean, teachers specialize in different areas. They have different things that they would like their students to learn. Like, you know, if you're going to sign your 5-year-old up for piano lessons and they come in to Mrs. Johnson down the street, she probably is going to pull out her Bastion books and start you on level 1 or whatever, you know, and she's got a way that she does it for everybody that works for everybody. As you grow up, though, I think, you know, you start to kind of question or ask yourself why you even want to be doing music in the first place. And man, I get it a lot that people go away from music and then they come back to it for one reason or another. It's kind of like when I'm out surfing. A lot of times I'll meet these old dudes in the water, or sometimes old chicks, and they'll tell me that they took 20 years off from surfing to raise their family. And they were like, but I missed it. So now that I don't have all that responsibility, that's what I want to go back to. And then they're having the time of their lives out in the water every day. It's same thing with music, I think. You know, sometimes life gets in the way. You've got to raise your family or work or, you know, earn money. Those kind of things get in the way. And sometimes you go away from what you love. Hopefully you find time in your life to return to it. But I do find that when people return to it, if they aren't clear with their teachers from the beginning, they end up stuck in a situation that they will, I mean, the truth of it is they're just not having any fun. And that's not why they came back to music. So I always ask right off the bat, and this is, you know, just a little advice to teachers, if you can do it. Now, not all teachers can do it, because maybe, you know, some teachers, like maybe Mrs. Johnson just knows the Bastion method and that's all she's ever going to teach, and that's absolutely fine. But some teachers have the capability to connect with students in a different kind of way to make whatever they are passionate about be the thing that they work on in their lessons. There's all kinds of reasons to want to do music. You could be in your church and they don't have an organist or a keyboard player or pianist, and you want to fill that spot. Maybe you know people who need an accompanist and you want to be able to accompany. Maybe you just love James Taylor and your whole goal is that you just want to be able to play James Taylor songs and sing them on your guitar, on the piano. James Taylor's great. Maybe you're in it for the sight reading. Maybe you've got some kind of gig where you have to accompany choirs, and you want to get better at your sight reading. There's all kinds of reasons, right? You don't have to like be shooting for Carnegie Hall or the Village Vanguard to start taking music lessons or to want to get better at music. And I think that's important to realize, because the key element in music for all of us is fun. You know, I don't play music because I feel an obligation to it or to put food on the table for my family. I mean, it helps, and that's nice, but I do it because I really like it. There was a time in my life where I told my mom I wanted to quit piano lessons. I was 13, and my friends probably thought that I was dorky, and I was starting to kind of realize that. So I thought, all right, I'm not going to do it anymore. I think that's kind of common actually for girls, especially right around the age of 13, as you start to, figure out who you are and stuff. But every day when I would pass the piano, like my mom let me quit. She let me stop taking lessons. And every day when I passed the piano, I wanted nothing more than to sit down and play and sing. And it was killing me that I told my mom I wanted to stop. And I wanted to just prove to her that I could stay away from the piano. But I couldn't. I don't know how many months I kept it up, but it wasn't very long. And anytime I found myself home alone, I was at that piano just playing and singing the songs that I loved. That's important. I mean, I think, for some people it feels like it's healing or uplifting. But sometimes it can kind of cure you, right? Like if you're feeling sad and you play some sad songs and the lyric is just what you need right then, that'll do something for you for sure. I always ask people who they listen to. And I love it when people are like, I love Aretha Franklin, or I love Elton John, or I just love the Roots. Anything. They could say, I'm crazy about Ozzy Osbourne. Good. I want you to be crazy about something. I want you to have some kind of thing that makes you have to do music. You listen to this band and you go, that's what I want to do. Or if I could just play all of these songs by the Police, I'd be set forever. That's the kind of thing that gets me excited as a teacher, to see that in somebody, My second point is I don't want you to get scared about theory. You know how I mentioned the guy who goes to take lessons from somebody and they say you have to learn all your scales, you have to learn all your arpeggios, and it scares him and he never comes back? That's mostly what I want to address today. You don't need to be scared like that. Things like scales and arpeggios, they're helpful, but depending on the kind of musician that you want to be, it might not be necessary for you to go crazy learning all your scales. Especially if you're a little older. I'm not gonna play games with you. It's harder to learn when you're older. Hopefully by the time you're older too, you're just a little more introspective and confident. And so you can go to whoever your new teacher is and say right off the bat, when I leave here, I want to be able to play these 3 songs by Simon and Garfunkel. And that's it. It doesn't matter what your goal is. You just have to have one. You kind of have to know why you're in it. I taught somebody one time who, when I asked him this question, he said, right now I'm earning $300 a year at this performing arts center, and it pays me $100. And then I have this other gig. And he said, I'm making $300 a year. I would really like to be making $1,000 a year. That's my goal. And I was like, whew, all right, that's a goal I've never heard before. That's a pretty hard one. I don't think that should be your goal. If that's your goal, you have to reevaluate why you're in music, why you're doing this in the first place. Now, I didn't give up on that guy, and I'm glad too. We had lessons for quite a while, and I like to think I helped him discover what he liked about music. And we ended up having a good time with our lessons. But if you can be open enough with your teacher to explain what your goal is right off the bat, one of 2 things will happen. Your teacher's going to say, oh, I can't help you with that. Or your teacher's going to be like, oh, well, I'm the biggest Def Leppard fan there is. Let's dive right into Hysteria. You never know. But for Pete's sake, make sure you're having fun. There's no other reason. There's no other good reason to be doing this unless you're having a good time, unless it helps you out in your soul somehow. You might be a methodical person. You might be like a math kind of logical kind of graphing chart loving algebra whiz or something, and in that case you might be fine saying, I'm taking these lessons because I only want to learn my altered dominant scales. I want to be able to play all of the modes in all of the keys and feel comfortable improvising over Lush Life in all 12 keys. You get those too. Not very often. Sometimes you do. And that's cool too. If that person knows that that's what's going to make them happy and drive them to keep on playing, then more power to them. You just kind of have to be malleable as a teacher, I think. Just enough to bend with your student, be willing to say, like maybe your student will just change directions on you. They'll be like, we've been working on this, but I don't feel like I want to work on that anymore. And you know, you can always make suggestions. But I think as a teacher, more teachers need to listen to their students, figure out why they're really in it. Because you don't want to turn somebody off. You don't want to tell them that they need to play all of the modes and all of the keys and overwhelm them and then have them think, I guess I'm not cut out for this after all. Nothing's sadder than that. That's the worst. You want to motivate people. You want to be like, well, okay, I'll tell you what, over this G minor chord, the Dorian mode sounds good. Now don't be scared. You're just going to play G Dorian. This is what it is. And you show it to them. You know, it's just an F major scale, but you start on a G. I don't know. Don't be scared. And don't be shy about telling your teacher what you want. You're the one paying them. You get what you want out of those lessons. Dang it. Get out there. Get what you want. All right, I think I'm all done. Don't forget to have fun in music. I'll see you next time on Aimee Nolte Music.